Every business from time to time will be required to manage in a period of economic adversity. These times can be unsettling for our colleagues whose jobs, livelihoods or aspirations may be on the line. Thankfully for most management teams, they're only required to manage this once or twice in a 10-year period, so that lessons and experiences are easily lost from the corporate memory. This video aims to provide insights from business leaders to help you in your planning for when you need to manage such a period of change.
Integrity is the pillar on which organisational trust is built. Strong relationships thrive where what is said and what is done remain consistent. Honesty and openness are not just the words on a page, they are the bedrock to how the organisation is approaching its challenges.
If I've got one attribute which I would want to say was at the forefront of my approach was complete openness and honesty. That I would be prepared to put myself in front of members of staff, either face-to-face or dealing with emails and so on and so forth, and always try and answer the question as frankly as I possibly could.
Anybody thinking about change needs to do so with a sense of humility. It's an area where we've always got to recognise we can do better, we can improve, we can think differently about the task, we can learn from each other. So I think the starting point is to recognise just how difficult change of this scale is.
And the other thing I think that is really important, and they've got better at, is being honest all the way through. You've got to tell people what's happening and what you think is going to happen, and then also admitting when things have changed in the process, that you've got to rethink, or the numbers have changed, or locations, something's happened that wasn't originally seen at outset. You've got to be honest with people that there is change, and also keep the unions informed. That's really important. If it's the first time an organisation has had to go out and make these kind of announcements, it's amazing how quickly any sort of semblance of trust in the organisation goes.
To manage these change processes in a way that has least impact on staff, you've got to deal with them professionally. Everyone's got to feel that they've got a fair chance, that they've had their opportunity to get us the outcome that they're personally looking for, and that requires an investment in the sort of the HR infrastructure to make sure that that's dealt with in a professional way. So we built into, even though we're making all these savings, we built into the budget the resources necessary to do those changes.
I think the second thing that matters hugely to people is that the process is done in a fair way. They may not like the outcome, as it affects them personally, but they need to feel that the process is done fairly, that where you are reducing in size, where you're changing the way you work, then there's a chance for everyone to put forward their best case and be considered fairly. There's a huge amount of store put on this question of fairness, and people will very quickly pick up if they think it isn't fair. I think it's about being honest and being personal, leading it personally. Never communicate anything indirectly that you can and should be doing directly.
So we shouldn't try and be somebody we're not. So embrace the people you are, but share the values. So organisations that have values on the wall that aren't shared, I think will find it incredibly difficult to do engagement, to do it well and to do it in a sustained way. I think lots of organisations can do it well for a short period of time. It's whether or not you can sustain it and let it grow.
You do have to keep re-energising the process. You can't just keep doing the same things. So you've got to get some things embedded and then create a fresh energy, sticking to the core principle. Just be willing to accept feedback which probably isn't natural. It's quite difficult. I found quite difficult to take at times, but just had to bite my lip rather than traditionally would go back and say, but didn't do that, just stay silent, listen, took it on board and took it away and dealt with it and probably said, yeah, actually they've probably got a point.
I also think then it's about role modelling from the senior leadership. So you can't create a culture then not live it. So if I didn't like doing listening groups, didn't like talking to my people, didn't make that an important part of my job, then I've got no right to say that's part of how I expect my people to work. No right at all.
You de-link what you say with what you do, you've lost everything in this process. In our activity, there were 30 plus bodies represented either individually or collectively, and everybody was looking for that moment when what you said and what you did didn't match. Fortunately, the leadership team through that process actually maintained what we say and what we do are going to remain aligned. And people, as they went through that journey, began to understand that that level of trust was in that group, and it just changed the whole dynamic over time. You know, I would advocate to anyone, make sure you get involved. It is a difficult process, but not being involved is abdicating your responsibilities.
This section has shown us that the heart of managing this very personal situation is trust. Trust is measured in an organisation by what it does, not what it says. Never is the rumour mill more powerful than in periods of adversity. The employee needs to be confident that they are being told the full story. What group in your organisation is going to be the conscience through that change? What mechanisms have you in place to build and maintain trust?
In a time of economic adversity, the principles of engagement remain the same. Helping your teams understand the future of your business, ensuring your leaders engage through the process, listening to your employees' voice, and ensuring your actions align with your stated values. However, the stakes can be much higher. We've heard how the actions of businesses are remembered some 20 years in the future. We hope this video helps you in planning the change in your business